Sorry about that, folks. My phone cut out. But where I left off was use the 13mm socket and remove 2 bolts holding the power master cylinder to the vacuum booster. Inside the car underneath the dash, remove the 4 15mm nuts that hold the vacuum booster to the firewall. Save these bolts if you want to convert back to the vacuum booster using the bolts supplied with the kit for the manual brake adapter. Remove the vacuum booster, push rod retaining pins from the brake pedal, and remove the push rod from the brake pedal. This may take a little wiggle as the booster get the pin off. Save the hardware in case you want to convert back to the vacuum assist brakes. Remove the vacuum booster from the firewall. Save the booster if you want to convert back to the vacuum assist as a later date. Make sure the push rod on the master cylinder side of the booster is saved and retained with tape. It can easily fall out. Okay, now we are on to preparing for the installation of the manual brake system. Under the dash of the brake pedal bracket, unplug the brake light switch and the cruise control switch if it has cruise control. Leave the switches attached to the brake pedal assembly, which this is what they're talking about. This is the brake pedal assembly. I didn't leave them attached. I pulled them out because they were in the way anyways. But what it says is, let's see, let me get back here. Switches and pedal assembly. Underneath the dash with a 12-inch extension or a ratchet, use a 13mm socket. Remove the remaining bolts that attach the brake pedal assembly to underneath the dash brace. It is located straight up from the floor. And then what he's talking about straight up from the floor, it's this one. So the brake pedal, the assembly sits along the firewall like that. You got these 4 bolts here, and then you got this one that goes up through. And then this one coming through the middle like that is the brake pedal. And there's a bolt with a bushing on each end that goes through this assembly that ties it all together. I pulled it apart because I needed to drill this pin so I could get it to slide in, because it wouldn't press in on mine, so I had to drill it, which David said some of them you might have to drill, some of them you can get lucky and they'll press right in. So let's see, that straight up from the floor, underneath the dash, straight up. Remove the brake pedal assembly from the car. Separate the brake pedal assembly by removing the brake pedal arm from the brake pedal bracket, which is what I was just talking about. Mark the top of the brake pedal pin stud with a line using a permanent marker. The mark will show where the cotter pin hole is oriented when pressing the brake pedal. Press the supplied pin stud into the upper hole of the power booster pin stud on the brake pedal. The stud should be pressed in the same direction as the power booster pin stud. Both the power boosted and the manual brakes pin studs will protrude out the same side of the pedal. So what he's talking about is this pin will press in that direction, the same direction as the original pin stud. Let's see. And then offset the marker line for the cotter pin hole so that it does not line up and down on the pin, but offset like a, basically, that's what he's saying is don't put it in to where it's, don't put it in where it's facing that way. You want to put it in where it's, facing a little offset like that. So that way you can get the cotter pin in and out. Because if you put it straight up and down, you're not going to get it out because of that pin. And that's what he's trying to warn you about. Is that'll happen if you do. After the pin stud, insert the cotter pin in the bottom hole of the pins to see if it clears the power booster pin. Note, keep in mind that this cotter pin will have to be installed underneath the dash. If the pin is not pressed in correctly, it may make the cotter pin hard to impossible to install when the brake pedal assembly is installed back in the car. Remove cotter pin once you are satisfied with the position. Install the clevis without the push rod on the newly installed manual brake pin stud. So what he's talking about, oh crap, there it is he's talking about this right here comes together like this. So what he's wanting me to do is unscrew this, pull this out, put that on there like that, install that back on there like that, and then, but that's how he wants it installed, because this here has to go on this bracketry, and then connected through the firewall. And then once you put this in like that, and it's pushing like that, then what will happen, and that's where I'll have to pull that nut off, but this right here will hang out like that inside the car, so that way when the brake, that's pushing the brake in and out, and then you adjust your brake pedal with this, which we'll get into that when we get to that point. But for now, let's get back to the instructions. Alright, so manual brakes. Install the cotter pin, hold the clevis in place. Bolt the brake bracket back into the pedal bracket. Note, do not over tighten. If you over tighten, it may cause binding and damage to the plastic bushing. So what he's saying, give me 1 second, I gotta get it. Okay, so what he's saying is I need to take this bracket. I'm going to find out how to set it up so I can show you easier. What I need to do is take, let's do it the easy way. I'll take this part. This is the bushings I was talking about that goes through the brake pedal like that. And then this bushing will go through here like so, and that's what the whole assembly pivots on. And then here's the bolt that he's talking about. Don't over tighten it because you'll cause binding. So we'll get that up in there like so. Like so. And then tighten this bolt back up. So let's set this right here for now. And we're just going to tighten it down carefully. Like he said, we're not going to over tighten it, because it's got to stay where it pivots. But you don't want it too sloppy either. So there we go. And just a tad bit more. Okay. What I'm doing is I'm feeling for it. Still got a little bit of movement in it. Let's see if it tightens up any more. Yep. Unfortunately, mine's going to have a little bit of movement. Yours may not. So yours may not have any movement in there. But if I go any tighter, I'm going to break them plastics that he was talking about, so I don't want to go any tighter. So now we're going to set that right there for now. And we'll move on to the instructions, see what he says. Alright, lay. Okay. tighten binding or bushings. Mock up the brake pedal assembly with the aluminum brake pedal without the gasket. So basically what he's saying is take this gasket off. And I know why he's saying that, because he don't want you to tear it up, because we have to go in here and basically do this to see how our holes are going to line up. And it looks like all my holes are going to line up pretty good, except for I need to take and grind that down, because it's not gonna, which I'm gonna have to grind clear down in here. I'm gonna have to grind clear down in there. So, and that's where he talks about taking a marker, good old marker. And so I wish I had some bolts. See if I got any bolts. This might work. Just so I got an idea where it needs to be. Okay. So I have to grind clear down in there. The marker's not working too great. Maybe not that far. Yeah, it don't look like it needs to go that far, so I went too far. So we can go down to here. And we'll stop right there and see where we're at. Actually, I might stop a little bit higher. No, that's about right. Good quality marker. Need to get me another one. Alright, well, I'm at a point where I think I'm going to have to pause you guys so I can find my grinder to grind that out. And I won't put you through the agony of waiting. And I'll grind it and then we'll come back. So I'm going to put you guys on pause and we'll hold on. Alright folks, I'm back. I did some modifying. As you can see, I had to cut down quite a bit. But that's exactly where it's supposed to be, down here. So I'm going to have to wallow out these holes just a little bit, but that's okay. I think they already are. They're just, yeah, I think the bolts will fit right through there. But that's what you got to accomplish. And then once you got that accomplished, basically you just follow the rest of the steps. It says mock up without the gasket, lay the plate onto the brake pedal bracket as if you were going to bolt it together using the supplied stainless steel hardware. Line up the bottom holes of the plate on the bottom holes of the brake pedal bracket that mount to the firewall. You want to look for the side-to-side clearance and the top and bottom clearance of the top holes of the brake plate. Side-to-side clearance of the top plate of the adapter plate will come from squeezing the brake pedal bracket together with your hands, or laying it at firm surface and pressing the bracket down with your hands using the body weight. Note, top to bottom clearance will come from modifying the brake pedal bracket by elongating the upper holes of the brake pedal bracket, which he's talking about these ones right here, which probably, yeah. So the bottom ones lined up, the top ones, but I've already elongated them from when I had the other brake, the whatchamacallit brakes in there from the, oh, I can't even think. When I had the Hydro Boost in. Knew I was going to get it out eventually. So, now, where is the box? Oh, the box is over here. Let me move some of this stuff out of the way. I don't need it in my way anymore. Here's the bolt kit that he supplied. Here's the two adapters that he was talking about, which I will need them later. And then there's the big bolts and the big bolts, and then the other two. I gotta remember which ones. Okay, the smaller ones. Okay, the smaller ones, which are the longer ones, which is these two right here, which I will screw them together so I know where they're at. Them have to go through the brake pad. Them have to go through the master cylinder and everything. So what I am going to do is I am going to shove these big ones through. Can't be right. Wonder why. I'll open this up. Make sure I'm putting the right bolts, but I'm pretty sure I am. Sorry about this, folks. We're learning together. Yep, that's what I thought. The shorter ones go through. So, and then these ones won't fit through. So what I'm going to have to do is drill out the holes. So, there again, I'm going to have to pause you guys again so I can go find a drill bit and a drill so we can drill out these holes. Give me 1 second, I'll be right back. Alright, folks, I'm back again. I got the drill bit. I'm just gonna, oops, let's not do that through the gasket though. Let's pull that gasket out of there. And I'm actually going to drill these outside the car. Bolts should fit through. We'll find out. Yep, bolts fit through, kind of snug, exactly like I like it. So let's make sure that these bolts are going to line up. Otherwise, we might have to drill them out a little bit too. Looks like. Fits through, and that one fits through. All right. So now that I know they're gonna fit, I can put the gasket on. I'll put the gasket on so that way get it all sealed up. I'll put the bolts in. Like that, just like that, and then that's where I'm gonna have to go underneath the car. So I'm gonna take you along with me. Careful with it, so you can see underneath. Let's see position this so you guys can see at the same time. So sorry about that, folks. My phone paused it. I didn't mean to. So I'm trying to find a good place. Let's see if I can mount it right here. Yeah, that'll work. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. The two bolts are up top. So started, and there's that bolt up there. Let's see if I can find that bolt. There it is. We got that one in. I'm gonna go grab the nuts. Get this nut started. Bingo. Okay, I got that nut started. And hopefully I don't get my fat head in your guys' way so you can see. Alright, I got that nut started. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to stop here because I'm going to need a second hand to help me. So, with that part, there's going to be a part 3. But as you can see, the brake pedal's in. And all I got left to do... And you know what? I think I mounted that. Yep, I did exactly what I thought I was going to do. Dang it. Alright, so... I got the bracket mounted upside down, so yeah, you got my learning curve. I'm doing exactly what you guys would do. Didn't really say which way the bracket had to go on. So let me see if I can get the nuts back off. All right, there's that one. There's that one. Alright, I'm going to flip it around outside. Well, it looks like I'm going to have to pause you guys again because, as you can see, I got to grind out a hole. Alright, folks, sorry about the problems. My phone died on me, so I didn't have nothing I could do. But I went ahead while I was doing it. I got this flipped over and I got this mounted in where it should. And then the holes, I'm going to have to stick a drill bit in there, maybe. We'll find out here real quick. But this is, the top is where it mounts. Yep, okay, it's fine. So, and normally it says in the instructions it takes 2 people, but I got it to tighten up. And while I was waiting on my phone to charge up, unfortunately, so you didn't get to see it. But on the plus side, that's how that thing mounts up, just like that. And then the other part, let's see if I can find it real quick. What did I do with it? What did I do with that little? Crap. Oh, there it is. On the plus side, this has got to go in here like this. So I got to take this nut off, because the nut will go on the inside. If I remember right, I'm going to have to read the instructions and make sure, but I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. Let me grab the instructions. Of course they fell. So let's see. Under the dash, brake pedal bracket unplug, mark the top, press, boost, protrude. Oh, we're already past that part. We're on the other page. Mock-up brake pedal with aluminum plate without gasket, lay plate on, bolt it together. Side squeezing clearance. Once the side clearance is sufficient, look the upper hole on the adapter plate. Mark the area of the brake pedal bracket that needs to be clearanced. The additional area for the clearance should be around 1/8 to 3/16 below the top of the holes on the brake pedal bracket. This clearance will allow the master cylinder to line up with the newly installed manual brake pin stud in the pedal. Remove the adapter plate from the brake pedal bracket. Use a die grinder or a Dremel tool with a grinding bit or burr file. Slightly clearance the top of the large hole in the firewall, about 1/16 of an inch. Clearance the top of the large hole of the firewall will allow the push rod retention cup to slide through the firewall. Allow all 4 holes of the aluminum plate to line with the 4 holes in the firewalls. Retest the adapter for proper fitment. Modify the bracket holes only for additional clearance if needed. Once the brake pedal bracket's clearance, top bolt. Use 30mm button head adapters. Okay. So now, brake pedal, take push rod and slide on the aluminum spacer in the retention onto the washer. Note, package comes without master cylinder, but comes with 2 length aluminum space. Will be for a GM master cylinder, the longer ones for the Mopar master cylinder. Insert the push rod threads first through the hole bottom behind the plate. Screw the jam nut down full length of the threads until it bottoms out. Note, do not over tighten the jam nut. When it bottoms out, it should be easily unscrewed when it's ready to lock out the length of the push rod. Okay, so basically what I got to do is I got to take this nut off. That's what they're saying. Get the nut off. And I'll show you. And then I'm going to call it quits. And then that. So it's going to go like that. So it goes like that inside the hole. Here, I'm going to pull it back out so you can see it. So basically this bolt, this setup goes in there like that, and then the nut will go on the other side up underneath. We'll go up underneath, up under here like so. Let me see if I can position you so you can see on that bolt sticking out right there. And then it says to screw it down all the way till it stops, but do not over tighten it. So I'm going to have to set you down for a second so I can get the thread started, because I only got one hand, unfortunately. Or two hands. I don't have a third one. Okay, I got it. I got that nut on there, like they say. I don't know if you can see it. It's hard to see up there. Yep, there it is. You can see the nut. It's on it. So, this is what I'm going to call it a night. It's getting late. I want to go in the house. I got to deal with my dogs, so. And I'm going to sign off. But if you would, like, comment, subscribe for more content. And hopefully tomorrow I can get the master cylinder, get it all filled up, get it bled, get it put into place where it belongs. Because then it goes just like that. Goes just like that. And then I'll tighten it down. And then I gotta, it gets tightened down in there. So, yeah. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe for more content. And I appreciate it. Have a good evening. Bye, folks. Hi, welcome back, folks. Sorry about the delay. I've been busy doing my side gig, which is powder coating. I had a bunch of jobs, so I wasn't able to do part 2. Now I'm going to work on trying to get part 2 done. Here's what I got done with the brake pedals. As you can see, I powder coated them to freshen them up, make them look a little better. But what we are going to do tonight is I am going to, because David talked about it, is test fit this in here to make sure that everything fits before because he said that we might have to waller out the holes in order for it to fit. So I'm going to do a test fit tonight and try and see where we sit on that part of it. So let's see where. Let me go ahead and get this mounted up and trying to remember what he said about it. Yeah, we're gonna have to grind that out, because he did say that that's got to go in there like that. He said the hole should be all right, but this here, right here, we'd have to grind it out. And if I remember right, it even says it on the instructions. So without further ado, let's see what I can do. Get a tool so we can grind that out. Because on here, let's go to the instructions. It says, all right, thank you for purchasing. I am offering a $20 refund on your order if you can send multiple pictures of your complete installation, which I'm not worried about the 20 bucks. And then, of course, his phone number and email with any questions, which I've already emailed him with some questions. This is, thank you for ordering the manual brakes. We strive to develop manual brake systems custom designed to fit and function for your car. If for any reason you have any questions about the install or performance of manual brakes after the installation of the manualbrakes.com system, please contact me directly, David Schultz. And then let's see, it talks about bench. I prefer to bleed the master cylinder. Use the plug method outlined below. It is guarantees the air is out of the master cylinder and determines if the master cylinder is holding pressure and will not cause you issues of troubleshooting brake issues. And this is for brake bleeding the master cylinder. Let's see. I'm going to skip ahead because I want to find the area where we got to find the information on what. Okay, that's all right. Here we go. Because that's all the master cylinders. Okay, it says, warning, installation of this system incorrectly can result in loss of braking in your vehicle, which may cause damage to your vehicle, damage to other vehicles, damage to property, personal injury, of death to driver, passenger, or other vehicle operators or pedestrians. Install this system will require bleeding your brakes of any air in the system. If bleeding your brakes is done incorrectly, this could result in damage to your vehicle, damage to other vehicles, damage to property, personal injury, or death to a driver, passenger, or other vehicle operators or pedestrians. If you are uncomfortable or do not have the mechanical knowledge of doing this installation, please have a professional mechanic install this for you. Installation requires 2 people from the install. One will need to hold a manual master cylinder and a 6mm hex socket or a 6mm Allen wrench, while the other person tightens down the 10mm nuts from under the dash. Tools will needed: 2 3/8 ratchets, a 13mm deep socket, 15mm deep socket, 17mm deep socket, various length socket extension, 9/16 open-ended brake line wrench, 6mm hex socket or a 6mm Allen wrench, file or Dremel, tool to clearance the firewall and brake pedal assembly, black permanent marker or marking instrument, and a hammer. And then it talks about the included stuff. Is included adapter plate with integrated push rod, retaining cup, custom adapter plate gasket, 2 10mm button head bolts, 30mm in length, 2 8mm button socket head bolts, 40mm in length, 2 10mm button head bolts, 40mm in length, not included in this kit. That one's not included in the kit. 2 M8 nylon lock nuts, right hand female adjusted push rod clevis, retaining pin for adjustable push rod clevis, adjustable push rod locking nut, 1 long retaining cup spacer for Mopar style master cylinder, retention cups, and that's what I have because I have the Mopar. 1 short retention cup spacer for GM style master cylinder, not included in this kit, which I opted to go with the Mopar style master cylinder, but he says you can use your master cylinder that came with it. Unfortunately, my master cylinder was a different master cylinder, so I couldn't use it. That's why I opted to buy his master cylinder kit. Included in the kit above the packages: 7/8 bore master cylinder optional, 24 or 1-inch bore, 1/2 inch female to 3/8 24 male brake line adapters, 9/16 18 to 3/8 24 brake line adapter. Removal. Okay, now this is for people that have brake line assist or vacuum brake assist and all that. It says removal of the brake assist braking system. Use a 9/16 open-inch brake line wrench to loosen and remove brake lines from the Power Master cylinder. Caution: brake fluid will ruin your paint. Please take precaution. Remove the vacuum lines from the brake booster. The line will need to be plugged for your car to run correctly. Use the